Well, hello out there, friends and neighbors. It's your back porch commentators coming to you from somewhere in Missouri, where a firm handshake means more than your signature, and a cold drink can help solve almost any problem. That's what we're planning to do here, bring you along on our journey to the answers to life's questions. You'll get a few facts and a lot of opinions, but remember, we're probably intoxicated and definitely full of shit. So pull up a chair and settle in while we explore some of those most thought-provoking questions. Like, why is a man bun a thing?
Hey everybody, welcome back for welcome back for episode 16 of B&J on the Rocks, and we got
It sounds so dirty when you say it like that.
B&J on the Rocks. Got John and Brent. We got our sidekick over there, Delbert. He's been away for a few episodes, but
He's just hanging out.
thought we'd bring him back.
Just hanging out.
Yeah.
First off, I do want to say, because our listens were down, I'm really, out of all the episodes we've done, last week was probably the one that I'd be like, don't listen to that.
Don't even listen to
Don't
him.
listen to that one.
Yeah.
The first one, depending on who I'm talking to, might be the second, and I'd be like, don't listen
You
to
might
that
wanna
one.
skip that. Yeah.
But last week, it was just,
There was moments.
I want to be sedated.
I really thought that there were good moments. I should have edited
Right.
better.
Ah.
It would have been like a 20-minute episode of a couple of topics, and that's
Everybody
it.
would have
But
expected longer, but that wouldn't have been the first.
That would have been the first time. Sorry.
I was just tired from the week, and
Oh man, it was a long week.
it's everybody that I have talked to has been saying last week and this week both, like Tuesday hit, and they were like,
Good. I'm glad it's not just me.
no, I think it's everybody. It's just, I don't know if it's I would hate to think that anybody would be tired of summer. I like winter from like Thanksgiving to New Year's.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm out.
That's it.
I'm out.
Yeah.
I don't need any more.
Yeah, I totally.
Give me the
agree
good
with you.
feeling of family time, some Bing Crosby, maybe a
Yeah.
Christmas story.
Yeah. 24
Sit
hours
around,
of that.
get
you know?
porked out on some food, drink with some family.
Yeah.
you
Beyond
know,
that,
New Year's, some dirty sex. We all make promises that we never keep by March, and
Right.
we move on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's part. I think people are just tired. We're tired of COVID. We're
Yeah.
tired of fucking bullshit. It seems like everybody's using COVID for excuses, no matter what the job or task is.
Yeah.
We got school now.
Yeah, we're
and
getting school started.
I give it October before they're letting them out.
Oh yeah.
We got we
If
started
that.
on Monday. I got an email this morning that they had one case in Helena, which is where Jack goes, and then this afternoon there was one case at Savannah High already. And I'm like, and here's where I feel bad, because there is no way that these kids will get the education they need. Because I can't sit with Jack at a computer and homeschool.
Right.
If it's between groceries and that,
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
it is what it is.
I'll teach you when I get around to it.
Right. But I genuinely feel bad for these kids that they're not only the social interaction, but the education.
Actual education of it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's.
No, we tried homeschool for a year with our kids. This before all this, you know, and we were in St. Joe, and the school district kind of sucked.
Right.
The one school they were at was really great, and then when they went to middle school, where they put them was terrible, and it was like, all right, we'll try homeschool.
Yeah.
And they ended up thinking it was more like, hey, just stay home and, hang out. I was like, no, you got some shit to do.
Yeah.
Like, the Missouri laws are like so lax, it's like crazy. But yeah, we did that for about a year, and it was like, nope, you're going back to school.
Go back to
because
school. Yeah.
We can't do this.
Right. I mean, and you want the best for your kids,
right.
and ultimately, I am not going to be the best educator for what he
Right.
actually needs to. Life lessons, yes.
Sure. Yeah.
There's nobody better than your parents to teach you that stuff.
Right.
But anyways, but I dare say that's kind of where people are. They're just tired of shit, and the weather's hot. It's getting towards, and I swear to God, people are losing their damn minds on the highways.
God.
Is it just me? Does it seem
No.
like it's got worse like the last few weeks?
Yeah,
like
it's
the last
gotten
couple
worse.
months, something
Yeah.
like. I mean, it's just like
I don't know what happened, but
I
it all
don't-
came out. And it was,
it's batshit crazy.
yeah.
I mean, it is lonelier. it's loonier than Bugs, Daffy, and a bag of Coke. You know? I mean, if you put Bugs, Daffy, and Elmer and an 8-ball in a room with a Johnny Depp movie, you'd be looking at Highway 71 from Maryville to St. Joe.
God. Dude, I've hardly ever been in a wreck. I've been in like one wreck that was weather related, and
I've been in several train wrecks, but most of them were relationships.
Oh yeah, you might be in one now. I'm joking. No, I think she's alright, but no, it's the last few weeks we got that Explorer,
right?
And then the tranny went out of it like a month after that. 2 weeks after we got it back. Yeah. That goes back with the other quote, right?
Right.
But 2 weeks after we got it back, Tish got rear-ended on Main Street.
Right.
And then, like, just this last weekend, we got rear-ended again in a parking lot.
Are you shitting?
And I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh, man. I've had people pull out in a 2-lane highway in town, right?
Yeah.
35 mile an hour. Back out, and then he's like reaching behind his seat doing like 10, 15 mile an hour. Not for a second, like down the road, like 4 blocks. And I'm like, there's people that just swing out in front of you and then they'll slam on the brakes and make a rain. There's people that turn on signals and like they stop to make a left-hand turn. They'll wait for 3 cars to go by and then they'll change their mind. I'm like, you have committed at this point.
Yeah.
If you don't know where you are that bad, maybe you need to go ahead and make that left turn.
Yeah.
And figure you can text and drive. Maybe you ought to pull over, stop, and check your fucking Google Maps. Okay.
Right. No shit.
I mean, damn.
Well, in St. Joe, I was going to get the beer and had a lady in front of me, and we turned onto a 4-lane road. So she turned into the left lane, and I went into the right lane. And she had her blinker on to turn into like Applebee's, and I was like, all right. Well, then she decided, no, she needs to go to the hotel over here across the street, and so she just turned right in front of me to go to the hotel, and I was like,
whoa.
I could have easily hit you. I mean,
right.
That was like, holy shit, that, and then I almost got rear-ended on the way turning into here. I was like,
yeah,
Jesus. So yeah, it's not just you, it's everywhere.
And people are so full of excuses. It just seems, I think everybody's like, well, if they can get away with it, so can I.
Right.
And it's that mentality. There's no integrity of maybe I need to be considerate of people around me. Not just like I care about your feelings. That's not. I don't give a shit about your feelings.
Right.
I just don't want to fucking talk to you. So
but we all gotta share.
Yeah. We gotta share this planet, and we also have to share the road, and we also have to. The fact of the matter is, we all got places to go. And I really don't need an excuse to fucking talk to somebody that I already am not impressed by in traffic.
Right. Yeah.
So.
I don't
speaking of. Yeah.
Talk to you.
Yeah. The smaller my circle, the better.
Yeah.
And that's not an anus joke. Unless I go to prison, in which
is
case.
now.
Yeah. The smaller my circle, the better. Speaking of beer, is that what you're turning in?
Yeah.
You picked this up tonight.
Yeah. This is made by Boulevard. This is their
Out of Kansas City, Missouri.
Yeah. A local. This is their hibiscus ghost.
Is that goose or ghost?
Ghost.
Like Ryan Goosley?
Ghost.
Are we sipping Ryan Seaman out of a?
We already did the Bill Cosby.
That was not a popular episode.
No, I don't know why. They never stuck around to the end anyway.
I guess. Either way, I finished.
Episode 3. I think you'll enjoy it if you stick around. But anyway.
This is
a sour, tart, summery kind of beer.
and it's good for the hot weather we're having. I think.
Perfect.
Yeah, anything dark and heavy.
Yeah.
Should I rephrase that?
No.
Most of our listeners, I think, just caught that. I will be getting gay jokes for that. Anyways, but yeah, when I drink this, I mean, and I did this before we came on, but seriously, every time I take a sip, I'm like, and then I feel like a dog that's just ate peanut butter, right?
Yeah, because it's there. Keep going. Let's make it really uncomfortable on the audio.
It's all about the timing. I hope there's a girl somewhere sitting on her mic, and I'm going, and it just reminds you of your birthday. Actually, this is either like dog with peanut butter, or this is like, your buddies watched you get really toasted and turn a 2 into a 10. You woke up with 300-pound woman named Martha.
Might have been that realtor.
And you can't get that on the ride home. You're going,
Yeah.
why does my beard smell like tuna? She knew I liked the beach, so she never wore panties. Crab's so big you could eat
You
them
knew
for
her too.
lunch. Yeah, I think I was on the other side of her.
Oh,
All around the world. Also, real quick, I don't know if we can do this or not. I'm gonna show my ass. Okay, no, but can you see the back there?
We can, yeah. Yeah.
Can you read that?
We can. I can't from
I'm
here.
squatting really hard
Yeah,
right now.
they can.
This is Brooke and Sons. Burke and Sons.
Burke and Sons.
Brooke. It's another
Hey, Brooke.
porn star now. Burke and Sons Lumber.
Brooke Lumber.
They've had wood for over 70 years. Burke and Sons Lumber in Rockport, Missouri. If you need your wood handled, they've got some straight wood, except for Jesse's.
Don't worry, Delbert. You're good.
Jesse's wood is not straight.
Oh.
And he can't argue with me or defend himself because I'm on a microphone.
That's right.
No,
We'll get an email.
they gave me this shirt. I wish they would have got me a shirt for the 69th and not the 70th, but you know, beggars can't be choosers.
Well, as George Carlin says.
And it
now
makes
you're-
man titties look good. So I'd like to give a heads up to his mother too, while we're at it.
Yeah?
His mom, fucking hot.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, pictures from the 80s. Oh, yeah. I would have loved to have been the nut stain in her dreams. You know, I would have made those bell bottoms look like a lampshade. Jesse, this is for you. But
Yeah.
nice people though, good people. He's helped me out on a couple ideas, like talking over him with this, and And Jesse's actually got a YouTube channel. I can't remember the name of it right now. If we're doing shout-outs, though, I guess, why not?
We didn't do shout-outs last week, I realized.
No, we were fucking
Wow,
tired.
we were way off, man.
Yeah, way off.
We do have an email this week, so stick around.
If I can get to all of them here. Gosh dang. Oh, Jesse's Junkyard Garage. Here we go. He's got a few projects. Oh gosh, I missed 2 of them and I didn't even realize it. Shows how much I'm on YouTube anymore, I guess. Jesse's Junkyard Garage. Look it up. He does these little steel things. He used to do these steel like flowers and shit.
Yeah.
He's into welding and he's a good school. Artistic as fuck.
Yeah.
And he's hairy like a manimal. Manimal.
Yeah.
Manimal?
Man.
Mammal. Anyway, so
That happens.
yeah. Did you have any shout outs this week?
Shout-outs.
Might as well start with them. Well,
Sure,
let's
why not?
change it up. Why
Yeah.
not? We can do whatever we want.
It's ours.
Because we have the microphone.
That's right. Shout-outs. I got another birthday. Birthday today, actually. One of my friends, Brandon in St. Joe. Went to college with him. And we hang out. Not as much as we used to, you know how that goes.
Time, yeah.
I told him today, I said, man, we're way overdue for a burrito and a beer. So that seems to be our thing. But Brandon, happy birthday. 39. And,
Man, that sounds old until I realized we're
we're right there.
there.
Yeah.
Oof. When I see a woman, she's like, I'm 40. I'm like, never mind. And then I'm like, wait a second.
Oh, well.
No, it is my age range.
Yeah, well, they're 42, 3.
I don't-
We're still right there.
You know, I really don't feel that old though.
Yeah?
I mean, well, except for last Friday.
No.
I felt that way last Friday. But
Yeah.
I don't know. You know, and the thing about speaking of time and not hanging out though, there's just not many people that I've made time for friends wise with work and stuff. And then the years just flew by. And actually, until we started doing this podcast, we've been a little better, like going to concerts and
Right.
stuff. But that was still like 2-3
A couple
times
times
a
a
year.
year, yeah.
Yeah, but there was a period of like 9-10 years where we text,
Yeah.
and every
Text all
once in a
the time.
while, you know, we do grab a beer every few years.
Right.
But it wasn't like
For our Christmas party.
right, the company Christmas party. But yeah, that was, you know, time just flies by.
Yeah, it goes so quick. Yeah, that. I don't really have any other shout outs. I mean, Wes sent an email.
That's always
So,
good.
you know.
I got a
Jesse actually
comment
sent an email last week.
with the pictures.
Picture of
with
the truck.
pictures, yep. I guess I broke some shit this week, and it's down at Gibson's garage, and I got it's amazing that, they were like, hey, man, we appreciate this. And I was like, well, it's not a problem, but, I mean, our listeners aren't that many right now, so I hope more than glad to say something, but I hope it does good. I hope somebody hears it and goes, hey, I heard you on the podcast. And if they hear, I just want you guys down at Gibson's to know that if somebody comes from our podcast and says, hey, I heard about you on my podcast, I just want you guys to know I expect my nuts twisted really tight.
Oh, yeah.
Take that how you will. Matt, I'm talking to you, you greasy little bitch.
Oh, nice.
Matt's kind of like
Yeah.
more straight-laced, I think.
I had a feeling.
Yeah.
That'd be the one you pick up. You're like that cat that finds the one person in the room that hates cats.
Hates cats, and then
it's
like sets off a
hey,
laugh.
You're
What's
the
up?
one.
What's up?
Hit me, big boy.
You like that pussy, dude? Pet that pussy, cutie pig. Now I'm just talking to myself.
Yeah. Well, we got an email from Wes, and I'll just go ahead and jump into this. We don't really have a lot of quotes. He's asking about quotes that kind of impacted our life, movies or songs or, I guess, speakers or whatever. But he's got a few here, and I went ahead and kind of came up with a few that I think of from time to time.
Right.
I think you'll like some of them. But he says, hey guys, I know you touched on this in a previous episode, and actually did an episode on the songs that impacted your life. But I'd like to hear maybe some quotes that have impacted your life. Movies or songs or people that you've carried with, you have carried with you. Some I like are, no amount of money can ever buy a second of time. It's true.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not enough without it, you'll never be enough with it. That's true. This last one, I think we decided from Rocky.
Yeah, I think so. I haven't
Rocky
seen it.
Balboa,
Yeah.
one of the newer ones.
It might be.
I've seen the clip, I believe.
See,
I've
and
never seen the movie.
Every Rocky quote I read because we came from the 80s. It's either Adrian or it's like the old guy. Hey, what do you mean, Rocky, you bitch? Quit being a pussy. I got that gravelly old man voice in my head. So I don't know if it's the gravelly old man or whether it's Sylvester after the plastic surgery in this new movie where he's got...
Yeah.
You're gonna, and I think he talks. I don't think that's his voice. I think his lip is just permanently snarled. Like they're like, "Do you want to keep the snarl or not?" And he's like, "Yeah, I definitely want to keep the snarl."
I like it.
And so they're like, "We're just gonna put a bunch of right there and your stuff, and that's it. No more."
All right. Yeah. So it is from Rocky. And it's Rocky talking to his son in the movie.
Rocky's son,
talking to his son, I believe.
or was it the black guy's?
So that was in Creed.
Okay.
Yeah, the next
Creed, the
one.
band.
Yeah. Now we're showing our age.
He's right.
Yes, it's a good quote. I like the quote.
Right.
It's from Rocky, so take that for what that's worth. Oh,
Okay, now go read it.
Let me tell you something you already know. Sorry.
No, keep it up. I love it.
The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's hold on. It's
Let me think about this for a second, kid. I had a few concussions.
Sorry. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently.
Makes my dick tingle.
Oh, yeah. That's what she said. Not that. It'll keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, and nobody is going to hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. And then we had to finish the quote in another email. So give me a second.
Oh, there's 2 emails then.
Yeah. Then now, if you know what you're worth, then go out and get it. But you got to be willing to take the hits, and not pointing fingers saying you ain't where you want to be because of him or her or anybody. That's what cowards do, and you ain't a coward. You're better than that. That's from Rocky talking to, I believe, his son or somebody's son. Anyway.
Yeah, there's some strength to that. I
There
can
it
see
is.
that.
It's kind of a summation speakers talk about.
Right. And you know, it's, you know, making the hard decisions and everything, you know,
Right.
whether it kicks you down and you're going to have to take the hard path to get back out. So.
We've talked about that a lot on this podcast, actually. Is,
Yeah.
You know, embrace the suck and.
Yeah, and I feel like, I guess, yeah, and I'm not discrediting women's efforts at all. It's just I can't speak of a woman's effort because I'm not a
You're not
woman.
one. Yeah.
But as from a dude's point of view, especially as we've got older, made some life choices, become fathers, etc., etc. And not only that, the cultural definition of our position is what we're taught to do. We're taught to suck it up. Emotions don't really matter.
Right.
We have to make the sort of
Bury it
decisions and bury it down and keep pushing
Just
forward.
keep going.
And it doesn't matter if it sucks or we don't like it. Or, you know, I will say I think that's something this next generation lacks a little bit.
The ability to.
Yeah, the younger men coming up, it's not fair. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I agree with you. It's not, but that's kind of it. If you want the liberties that come with being a man, a father, a husband, a boyfriend, whatever you want to classify it as,
Sure.
then that also means you're going to have to suck it up and make some hard decisions, and you're usually one making the sacrifices and putting yourself out there maybe just a little more.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's why we make an extra $1 an hour.
I don't even want to get into the emails. Go ahead, send an email. bjontheRocks@gmail.com.
It's a surcharge for
Right.
for you to get some extra freedom.
But no, it's I don't know. I just feel like, I guess, as guys sometimes, I don't think we get the short end of the stick, but it's generally speaking that a man in the family is kind of the leader more times than not.
Yeah.
And that's not saying that they get to make all the decisions, because that is a 50-50 thing.
Right.
But that's what good leaders do. I just think that sometimes a good leader has to suck it up. You know, whether it's in the military, whether it's a business owner, whether it's a supervisor or manager or job.
Yeah.
Sometimes it means you get some liberties,
Yeah.
but you also get the really hard, shitty decisions too.
Yep.
And you got to keep going. It just is what it is.
Yeah, not, to the point of the younger generation, it's like, I get it. Maybe it hasn't always been handled properly. Maybe that's why half of us stroke out and have a heart attack by the time we're 60.
Right.
And women just keep going until they're 112 or whatever.
Right.
But at the same time, deal with it at some point. But there's a time to deal with it, not in the middle of the crisis.
Right.
Sometimes you got to get through the shit
Well, kind
before
of.
you handle it.
I thought about this here before, and it's coming up, International Men's Day.
I remember that.
November 19th. Yeah, and I'm a big advocate of this. I
Right.
really am, because some life experiences led me here,
Right.
and this is all shit that we've talked about. But there's a glass ceiling in the women's and minorities and race, and you can take all that and just bring it down to, there's highlights to both sides of every story. I just don't think that in this day and age, especially in our country, we're the least racist country out there. Is there racism? Yes, of course. I'm not denying that at all.
Right.
And there's always got to be. We as humans will always have some prejudice in us.
Yeah.
That's how we make friends. Hey, you look like somebody that looks like me.
Yeah.
it is what it is. That doesn't mean you can't be friends with other people. It just means that that's how we're designed.
Yeah.
But as far as International Men's Day, there's some statistics that go with that. It's November 19th, because 76% of suicides are men, 85% of homelessness is men, 70% of homicide victims are men, 40% of domestic abuse victims are men, and that's something that's not talked about a
Right.
lot. Men are the majority victims of violent crime, and that's men on men, usually speaking, too.
Right.
Men are average serve 64% longer in prison. Men on average are 3.4 times more likely to be in prison than women when both committed the same crime. Now,
I believe that.
yeah, here's another one. 92% of workplace fatalities because, again, men usually
Doing
take
that
the more
job.
dangerous jobs. We're
Yeah.
physically built to mow the yard and drive a nail, and it's not saying that women can't. It's just
Right.
it is what it is. 17% of sexual assault victims are men. Have you ever been sexually assaulted by your wife?
No.
I was
No.
hoping you
I'm
had a
waiting
story
for it.
about that. Yeah, but seriously,
Honey, I'm coming home.
there's been times that I've, where a girl was like, yeah, we're going to do this. And I was like, I don't really want to. Maybe I was too drunk or whatever. Now, if the roles had been reversed, that would have been considered rape. But for
Right.
me, it was just like, sorry, I've got whiskey dick. I'm going to back out now.
Yeah.
You spit on her back and she thinks she finished. 1 in 6 men have reported experienced emotional abuse by a partner since the age of 15. Been there. Men who enlist in the Army must complete 2 years more than the minimum for women. There's a new one.
Really?
That's what it says. And if it's on the internet, it's gotta be true.
Gotta be true. That's what I heard.
Then men die 6 years younger. Let's
At
see. And 2 and 3 rough sleepers are men. Because here's the thing. Here's something else that we're designed. If you ask a woman of 2 men she would be more attracted to, if you take an easygoing guy like you and you don't show stress a whole lot, and then you have me who is like, women are going to typically find you more because women look for safety. So a man that doesn't show stress or emotions are more attractive and considered more masculine than men that show emotion, even though that's what women ultimately beg for constantly.
Right.
But if you show stress, it's not considered a safe zone, so they're not as emotionally stable with you, is what they feel like. That's how they perceive that. So again, we're supposed to harbor those emotions.
Yeah.
So, all back to men. Anyways, I'll get off that soapbox
I like
for a
that.
little bit.
November 19th.
November 19th.
There you go, man.
I think
You know,
February 14th is Valentine's Day, and March 14th is the man's, which is steak and blowjob day. I think is what they call it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and no, I'm legit. I'm serious.
Yeah.
March 14th is supposed to be like,
All right.
yeah. I mean,
Remember all that
you
shit
can
I
try
get?
that. You can try that. Let me see how. Let me know how that goes.
All right, I'll let you.
I'll end up with $1 off a burger off the dollar menu and
Yeah.
everything off.
Here, here's your pork chop. Get the fuck out of here.
Here's your can of green beans.
Yeah.
And the spaghetti
There's ham
with
in there,
meatballs.
Get what you get.
You throw no fence.
That's right. Nice. Well, one of the quotes that I, as a writer, write
Better than
songs. Yeah. Try to write songs and kind of not really blog, but more journal. And if it comes out to be something I think people like, I'll share it. But when I'm writing, a lot of times to kind of like get myself in that mindset, one of the writers I really like is Tom Waits.
Right.
And he's a songwriter and author and
Start like 70s.
yeah,
I mean, late
yeah,
70s.
early 70s I believe.
Right.
Yeah. Got a ton of great music. If you haven't heard Tom Waits, you can get past his voice, but his songs are fucking amazing. They'll
Man, I like his voice.
Yeah, I do too. It's authentic to what
Right.
he's doing.
Yeah.
And it'll break your heart, but in a good way. I
Right.
think. So one of his quotes is, "The world is a hellish place, and bad writing is destroying the quality of our suffering." Yeah. In other words, we're all suffering.
Right.
Might as
Some
well
level.
write about it wellly.
Yeah. Pass it on to the next. Poor bastard.
Yeah.
I jot stuff down and stuff. Over the years,
I like your
especially.
writing, by the way.
My writing?
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've shared too much, I guess.
Well, the comedic timing of it, I think, is more than anything. Because it's kind of like I read it in your voice. You know?
Right. Like once you know somebody,
I know
you've
it.
heard them.
Yeah. I did that with menus too. I think it was Stephen Wright said that. He was like, I hear the people that write menus, you know. He's like, one time the waiter comes to the table and he's like, can I get you something? He's like, you wrote the Applebee's menu. It's you. Anyway, sorry.
No. I'm just flipping through some stuff. Here's a quote that I wrote. I think that really sums it up. There was a distance in her eyes. Turns out she was Asian. Okay, that's not one of the real feel-good ones, but if you can count
Sorry,
pool,
Chung-Lee.
yeah. Everybody Wang Chung.
I don't know.
If you could count pool as a sport, the most used phrase in that sport would be, "I scratched my ball." Singular.
Yeah.
Ball. Just one.
Uno ballo.
Here's a good one. Here's one that my boys out here that are still playing the field
Yeah.
should really take to heart.
I'll sit back.
Fucking a fertile woman is kind of like gardening. I love the produce, but I really don't want to put out the effort.
Yeah.
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 Here's one I wrote to a friend of mine. At the end of your life, you'll have no stories to tell if you spend your life telling everyone else's.
That's true.
You know, and it's, you know, I've got a buddy that did this and this and this,
Yeah.
and blah, blah, you know, and it's, that one, actually, God, that was from 2 years ago. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Go make some stories.
Right.
That's the. Because life's just gonna keep going, man. Everybody says, "Oh, we'll do that next year. We'll do that next year." Eventually, there ain't gonna be no next year. That's the older I get, the more I start thinking like that. Like, oh fuck, what have I done?
Right. I mean, honestly.
Yeah, that's a long one.
This one here? Yeah, this one's one for a relationship. I think I was talking to somebody, and it was obviously a female, and I said, you know, it's hard for men to talk too. No excuse. We should listen better, totally. But early on, we're taught to show we care by providing. Like, that's our work in the relationship.
Yeah.
And we have no issues because breaking our back is sometimes easier than facing emotion for us. It's just how God made us. And no, it's not an excuse. Effort should be made, men and women, but it's two sides of a coin constantly flipping. It's hard, but we're made to complete each other, not to be twinsies.
Right. No, that's totally true.
Yeah, it's amazing I'm not married, isn't it?
Well, how are you not taken?
Right. Because Jesus likes Tommy Chong and not me.
Oh, Tommy Chong.
On that note, I'm out like a boner in sweatpants.
Oh, my God.
Your turn.
My
You go.
turn. I listen to a lot of Zig Ziglar. He's got a lot of good stuff. One that, I don't know if it's his most famous quote, but it seems to be, or at least for me it is that you will have everything in life that you want if you help enough people get what they want.
Like karma?
Yeah, kind of. Basically, if you have a service, you know, that helps other people, and you provide that service to them, eventually you'll have everything you want because they need it. You know?
Right.
Kind of how I took it. But yeah, it's the same thing, karma. You know. Yeah, he's got a lot of them, actually, but that's one that, like I say, it's just one that sticks with me, and I think about it from time to time. When you have those days where you're like, God, I hate this job, this sucks, you know, you gotta get out of here, you know, but at the same time, it's like, you're providing the service that's needed, and some people appreciate it, I guess.
Right.
Maybe not everybody, or it never feels like it anyway, but
Right.
it is a needed service, and you're doing what you were probably put here to do, I guess, at least at the time. So, and they pay me for it, so.
$20 is $20.
Right?
Yeah. Speaking of services needed, I was standing beside one of the vans with the business name on the side on it.
Yeah.
And this car drove by with Iowa plates and two guys in it, frat boys, chads,
Yeah.
And this one goes, "Woo, road ahead, hell yeah!" And he kept on driving, and I was like, I was bent over when you said that, you nasty bastard.
I'm just happy somebody got it, but
Yeah, right.
Everybody
actually
gets
seen
it.
the A.
yeah, everybody gets it. That was one of the joys of driving that truck. Every once in a while you look over and
After I
somebody
took
be
over.
like, "Yeah,
I get it. I get it. Yeah.
Yep."
I've got a quote. I met a girl once. Her pickup line was, "My pussy tastes like rainbows." The problem was when I got down there, I expected Skittles, not trout. Rainbow.
Yeah.
Here's one I wrote a couple years ago, and I was talking about personal grooming.
Yeah.
Right? Personally, I like to unzip knowing I'm about to unleash Greg Brady's doppelganger.
Ooh, wow.
That was,
Yeah.
I was drinking this night, obviously. Here's one that I think is more serious tone with my typical comedic standing that I hope people appreciate. Deal with life as it comes. It's kind of like being in a relationship with a squirter. You can't lay a towel out before and shower after every time. Sooner or later, you're going to come out of the bar bathroom smelling like you spilled a drink, smelling like patchouli, and asking where the wet floor sign is. It is what it is.
Yeah.
That's probably one of my favorites, honestly.
Yeah.
Incest porn. It's the only porn where they still love each other.
Hey,
Some people may never know, and this is something that I wrote. You remember those mornings driving the mail truck when nobody else is out?
Yeah.
I mean, and everybody's like, getting up early sucks, and it totally did.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
You got to remember that.
Well,
I mean, I still do it, but and you have those late moments.
Yeah.
I mean, do you remember those? Just nobody's out, and it's only you and the truck, and you're just going down the highway, and it's outside of your headlights. It's just black.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just dark, and
All
it's you
dark.
and your thoughts, and
Yep.
it's like lawnmower time times 10.
Yeah.
You know.
Until a fucking deer jumps out.
Right. and you shit your pants a little bit. And this is one thing.
I've written a lot of things during this.
Right, right. It's easy to get in your own head, and especially if you're going through personal stuff. I am an emotional self-masochist. Like, I dwell on that shit. You know what I'm saying? And so I wrote this one morning, and living alone now, it's
You got your dog.
yeah, my one that's left. But some people may never know the feeling of the emptiness in the middle of a crowd and knowing you're completely alone, and that no matter what anyone says, the rest of us only feel that emptiness everywhere we go. And I think there's a level that, I've never been one to have 1,500 Facebook friends,
Right.
or have 300 people on my Snapchat. Whatever. I have a small circle that keeps the drama down, and everybody else just knows my dirty humor.
Yeah.
Like chlamydia sounds like a French girl your grandfather fell in love with during the war.
We go from that
to that. Right, but it's just I think that even in the middle of a bar when you're looking around and you've just told 12 dirty jokes and everybody goes to get a drink or go to the bathroom and you look around and you realize everybody's having fun and you've been the entertainment, but at the end of the night you're still going to be making that drive home on the gravel by yourself 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
And the 1 time out of 10 that you're not, it's not with somebody that's going to appreciate anything you brought to the table the next morning.
Right.
So, that feeling of just, I'm here.
Yeah.
And I get it, but you're still a little numb to the to the electric light
Yeah.
that you're buzzing around, you know.
No, I totally get that. Like I say, playing in the bars and shit, you know.
Oh yeah,
And it's like,
that's a different perspective
you know,
completely.
you're giving so much energy just to try to like make somebody out there happy, you know.
Right.
And it's, you know, because their day was shitty too, you know, but they're going to just try to find some escape, you know. But I understand that what I put into it, I'm getting back out of it. I mean,
Right.
because it means just as much to me. And it doesn't matter. It's been so many nights with just me and the fucking bartender there.
Mm-hmm.
That bartender's getting the same fucking show as if there was, you know, 30 people there. It's like in Bob Seger where it says, you know, when the sweat pours out your body like the music that you play. Like you're fucking giving it everything you have.
Right.
And
Well, it's got to be a unique experience, even if you have one song out of 3 sets that you do, and somebody you can tell is getting it. That's got to be.
and when it's one of your songs,
Right.
man, because there's been a few, and I'll play a song, and I'll notice somebody kind of like has been just kind of hanging out all night, you
And then
know,
they're
going back and forth, and then you notice that they kind of like stop what they're doing and kind of lean in, you know, and just listen, and then when it's done, you just realize, you know, the expression on their face, you know,
Right.
that they got it, and that's what keeps you going back, man. It's like you know, guy that strikes out at baseball, you know, 9 times out of 10, but that 10th time you hit a home run, you know.
Right.
And it's like,
Yeah, I get
well, that's
that.
the one that keeps you going back.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then again, that drive home by yourself in the middle of the night after all the drunks are home.
With the amplifier
Yeah.
ringing in your head.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's an
I will-
interesting moment.
I will say that I think, because I've read studies on this, that men, when they detune after work, it's silence. Women detune by talking about their day.
Yep.
I think there's a certain amount of that solitude that men appreciate more.
Yeah. Maybe that's why
My
last
mom's-
week we were detuning.
I'll tell you
From the
what,
week.
from the whole damn week. Should have just done an hour of silence.
Yeah.
This is for you. My mom's husband, Mike, we were all out at their land and had stayed out of their camp and whatnot. And
Yeah.
he said, I couldn't sleep. I got up about 5 o'clock. I went out to one of the deer stands. He's like, I sat up in there, and he goes, I was watching the sun come up, and I fell back asleep for an hour. And I think there's a subtle poetic justice to that, I guess, because men just, it's not that we don't want to be around you, it's just that, as far as females goes, it's just that we need our solitude sometimes.
Yeah.
We need that wind down, that inner thought.
I'll be in the
process.
garage for an hour.
Right, and it's not that we want to get
What are
away.
you doing?
It's not
I'm
that
looking
we're,
at tools. I don't
yeah,
know.
it's not that we're doing anything. It's it is
Yeah.
what it is.
Or I gotta go for a drive. Or
Right.
I gotta go take a shit. Are you
Right.
really taking a shit for an hour? No.
Yeah, no, my legs have been numb for 40 minutes, and I quit. 43 minutes ago.
Yeah. I'm still unwinding. Alright.
I just want 5 minutes. Your turn. Quote.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good. I think we're just shooting the shit at this point.
Yeah.
This is for you.
You
Adrian.
So when this one really stuck with me because when I was a kid, I was probably seen as kind of a dumb kid. I mean, I didn't do my homework. I never got good grades. I never tried really,
Right.
honestly. And I don't know why. I just didn't. I was like, fuck it, whatever, you know. And if I knew now what I know, if I knew then what I know now.
If I didn't know what I didn't know.
Man, the things I'd change, but can't change it. So
Right.
you know,
You try and
talking about
pass
our-
that down to your kid.
Yeah, we're talking about our class reunion
Listen.
coming up.
I'm
And
still
it's
on the
like-
fence about going.
I'm leaning
The
more
closer
toward
I
no
get.
right now.
We should just get together and go to the bar.
Yeah,
And if people
Okay.
show up, going to the class reunion, honey.
yeah, right. Yeah, we can do that.
That might be fun.
I'd be fine with that.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
But anyway, this guy Les Brown, as a speaker, and he was basically labeled as retarded when he was a kid, and so throughout his school years, you know, they just kind of like kept pushing him to the back,
Right.
you know. And then he was sitting in a class one day. It's not in his class. He was waiting on somebody else who was going to meet him there. And his teacher walked in, and he says, "Young man, go up to the board and write what I tell you to write." You know? And he's like, I can't do that, sir." And he's like, "Young man, are you a student?" He's like, "Yes." He's like, "Then go up to the board and write what I tell you." And he's like, "I can't do that." He's like, "Why not?" He's like, "Because I'm mentally retarded." And he walks over and he says, looks at me and says, "Don't let someone else's opinion of you become your reality." And,
That's a good one.
Basically, no one else can tell you what you are.
Right.
And, you know, you can overcome just about anything, you know. Of course, there are some issues you probably can't.
Right.
But for the most
The
part,
mental aspect of that, though, is what he's addressing.
right. And kind of choose who you are.
Right.
And now he's, you know, goes around the world speaking to millions and millions of people, you know. And, you know, it kind of reminded me of once I got out of high school. In high school, I was a little better. But once I got out of high school, went to college, it was like, you know, this guy gets it, you know.
Right.
And people that I went to school with would have no clue how I got where I am today.
Right.
And
Oh,
I
no,
find
totally.
so much like comfort in that. It just makes me like kind of like
It's a little grudge fuck, isn't it?
I was that guy that was going nowhere.
Right. No, I get that.
And now where are you?
Still doing the same shit you were 20 years ago.
Right.
No, I get that in the aspect of, you know what really, okay, so we've talked about where we were in high school.
Yeah.
We were both at the end of our class, I mean, as far as ranking goes.
Right.
Neither one of us were extremely popular. Not saying that we are now.
We
But
got
like,
13 listens last week.
hey, more than somebody who got none. No, there's a certain level of like, and honestly, there was a lot of shit that I was so nervous about failing at that I quit. One giant struggle has been my granddad passing early. I always heard great stuff about him, so I kind of felt like there's a point that I've always been competing with a ghost almost, you know? Because when you have somebody that's a hero that you never actually personally know, you only hear the stuff that is
Oh yeah.
almost exaggerated,
Yeah.
you know? But I got pissed. My anger was always what ruined me. And in the same sense, it hit a point with the post office. I was working for the post office. They were always screwing stuff up, and they were late. And I was like, if these people can run a company, why can't I?
Right.
And that's when I started chasing dreams. And it's that same. And I don't know who said it. I don't know where the comment came from. But out of all the things in the world that there are to do, whether it's running a business or going to the moon or whatever you want to do, being an athlete, the only thing that those people have that you don't is the fact that they believe they could do it. I mean, ultimately what it comes down to is don't be afraid to fail.
Because you're going to.
Because you're going to.
Yeah.
And like Jim Carrey, there was a quote that he said in the commencement speech that was, he was talking about his father that took the safe route of being an accountant.
Right.
He took the safe job. He never wanted to do this. He took the safe route, and then he lost his job at like 45, and they lost their home and everything. And he was like, if you're going to fail at something that you love or that you were putting your heart into, because you're going to fail it. I mean, if you're going to fail, do it at that. Don't do it at something that you hate.
Right.
Because there's no worse feeling, and that's kind of where I was, and that's how I've always been. I mean, now I'm on a city board now, scary as hell to think about. I own 2 businesses, and that's not me bragging. That's me saying that if anybody can, if I can come past that, I don't think that anybody else could.
Right.
There's no reason if you have something that you want to do, the only thing that's stopping you is you.
Yeah.
Because if they can do it, there's no reason you can't do it. The only difference between me and you, I mean, you have just as much potential to be anywhere as I do.
Right.
You know, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
If you want to get somewhere, do it.
Do it.
But if you ain't gonna put forth the effort, then stay home.
Yeah.
And don't blame other people. Don't blame your circumstances. Don't blame your wife. Don't blame your kids.
Yeah.
There's a lot of days, and you know as well as I do, there's a lot of times when we were in our youth with kids at home, a significant other, a mortgage, and you were pulling 3 to 4 hours of sleep at night if you got lucky.
Yeah.
And working the other 20.
Yeah.
So if you want it bad enough, you can get it.
Yeah. I make about as much money as I used to, but now it's in a shorter time frame.
And I get a little more sleep in between.
Yeah. No, actually, I make a lot more than I used to, even with 3 jobs.
Right.
Yeah. Thank God it's all one job, because I pulled in an 18-hour day the other day.
And it still feels like 3 jobs.
That was a long day. So I'm surprised I'm here this week, because that was a tough one. But,
there's weeks that go by that you're just like, I don't know how I just survived that.
Yeah.
You know? And I know I told my stories of mail trucking,
oh yeah.
the tank binder, but there are just times where you're just like, how did I? And even looking back, I'm just like, man, that sucked.
Yeah. And I had a similar experience, I was going to say, where you kind of look around the post office and you're like, these people are running this
Horribly.
and they're terrible.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Why can't I do this?
Yeah, it's like, I'm looking around going, you're a manager?
Right.
You're a, what? Fuck. Go for it.
Yeah, you do that.
All right. Or, you hear musicians or artists and you're going, that guy can barely play a G chord. How the fuck is he it? Oh, he's got the attitude and he believes he can do it.
Well,
And somehow he's doing it.
whether it's somebody getting promoted into management or whether it's somebody that owns their own business and does really well, one thing I've learned, whoever makes the most noise is usually the one that gets ahead. And that works for being self-employed in the sense that, hey, look at me.
And persistence.
And persistence, yeah.
Yeah.
You just, it just is what it is. And people will eventually listen to you and give you a chance or do it just to shut you up. Either way, I'm going to finish. I do want to throw one quote out there. It was something my grandmother always used to say, and it was actually from a poem. It wasn't from the Bible.
Yeah.
But this too shall pass. I mean, I remember a couple times calling to talk to her, and I would be brink of tears trying to explain what I was going on in my life, whatever. And it was always, this too shall pass. And there was just a certain amount of calming to it. Jack's mom actually got that tattoo, which...
She's got goosebumps, man.
Yeah, it just...
Reminds me of my grandma.
Yeah, it's that generation,
like,
yeah.
She got it, man, but yeah, it was that calming, like...
And I think that's a generation of life experience that you have to appreciate coming from them.
Yeah. Yeah, well, raising 6 kids... Basically by yourself, while grandpas across the world, doing whatever.
Right.
You never talked about,
And that's the thing that they might not have ever gone through what you're going through, but the amount of shit has got to be at least as equivalent or not more in the lifespan of 70 years or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
She'd always listen. And she'd just be like, well, whatever you decide to do, this too shall. And that's one thing that I've always, all the shit that I've gone through in life, some of it was, what am I wanting to say?
Self-inflicted.
Self-inflicted. and what wasn't, and, places I'd put myself, and it was just, you put yourself in a stupid place and stupid shit happens. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes kind of thing. And that this too shall pass. Because no matter what happens to you today, tomorrow, God willing, you'll open your eyes, the sun will come up, you will take your first breath, and life will go on.
Yeah.
and you don't have a choice but to believe that this too shall pass. It might not go away. The pain just might dull. You might just learn how to whatever. You know, it might be something really great. You're not going to be able to bask in it forever.
Right.
Enjoy the moments for what they are. Take it and go with it.
Yeah. Well, that's like, you know, I don't remember if it's a quote or somebody just said it to me or shit, maybe it was you. Fuck, I don't know. But, you know, something bad happens and what do I do? What do I do? You know, it's like, well, you get up in the morning and you go to work and you go do what you do and you get up the next day and you go to work. And then eventually you'll feel better.
Yeah. It becomes a little less every day, and you move a little further every day.
But life has to go on.
Yeah.
You know.
So if it doesn't, you got two choices.
Yeah.
Dwell on it and let it eat you and put you in a grave. Yeah. Or you take it and move on.
Yeah.
Here's a lighter one. Some truth will always be self-evident. Grass is green, sky is blue, boobs are good, and men get wood. And there's nothing, there's never enough blood to operate both brains.
Oh, yeah.
That's probably personally.
That's true. Quote I like, and it's starting to make more sense now, is in The Bucket List with Jack Nicholson and Morgan Freeman. Jack says, never trust a fart. Like, we were talking about that earlier.
Yeah. I gotta be honest, I was doing something the other day and I let one, and it wasn't like obnoxious, but it was like, it was like the old man just fell out. It literally just fell out of my ass, and there was that moment where I was like, I didn't even know that was coming. Like, I literally just, God, I'm glad nobody was around. I might have offended myself. What do you call an orgy in the Netherlands? Going Dutch.
Going Dutch. As long as it's not a Dutch oven.
Yeah. What do you call an Indian that gets 2 periods in a month? A 2-cycle engine.
Here comes the email.
What do you call a pregnant Indian? Dream catcher. Okay, that was.
These are great.
Thanks. Here's one that I actually thought of last couple weeks ago, I guess. Oh, here's a good one. What's a parody of Dick Van Dyke? Pussy Van Lesbian. Okay, so I actually wrote this down because I was
watching
watching
Dick Van Dyke is an old actor.
Yeah, if you have to look that up, we're not friends.
Yeah. Sorry.
Chimney, chimney, chim, chiroo. My dick's in your poo-poo, can you feel it too?
I seem to forget that version.
That version?
That version? Oh, yeah.
So, I seen your watch, and I actually made a note about it. That's a Samsung watch, I'm guessing.
No, this is a Fitbit, actually.
A Fitbit?
But, yeah.
An Apple Watch.
Okay.
Okay, or Fitbit, or Samsung.
Smartwatch.
Yeah. I know they can check shit on them, right? Your
Yeah.
texts and emails and shit.
Yeah.
You can check that on them, right?
Right.
Does anybody ever watch porn on them? And if so, what if it's on your jerkin hand? Can you imagine trying to watch that porn on your...
I guess you could.
I sometimes I use both hands. I mean, I don't know what I'd do.
It's a different kind of stranger.
That's a that's a quote from me. If you're gonna masturbate using your iPhone or your Apple Watch, use the hand that's not wearing the Apple Watch.
Yeah.
That's a life lesson, I feel like.
Yeah. Go in that setting and change the dominant hand to the other one. You're all good.
Oh shit.
But no, this one won't watch video or anything. It's smart to an extent.
To an extent.
Yeah.
It's the average watch.
Yeah. Slightly better than Timex, I guess.
Shit.
It doesn't last near as long. Take that how you will.
Here's one I thought of. Oh, this is a good one. I actually had to read a couple times. I enjoy sharing these because I never get to share these with people. You know, when I really think about jerking off and how many dead bodies I've wiped off my chest, Johnson & Johnson makes Nam look like child's play.
I think you sent that to me once.
That might have been where that come from.
Yeah, so you did get to share them every once in a while.
Yeah, your vocabulary really changes after naming your son Jack. Did you drop Jack off? You don't know
deliver
Jack.
the boy?
Yeah. Here's one I wrote one time. I don't know. Your attachment's like your mom, unavailable, but I still tried to look. It's easy to speak to a heart of a like mind. There's a good one. Never trust a politician telling you what you want to hear. A sober Irishman. A woman who's never been married at 40. A Catholic priest in his prime. Yeah. Sorry, Father O'Leary.
Yeah.
We both remember the rectory.
Oh.
Or a man who prefers cats over dogs. Right. I think that's a pretty good quote.
That's a good one.
I don't know if I found that somewhere or whether I wrote that one. Either way, it seems like something I threw together randomly because it's got too much detail. A sober Irishman.
Right.
Woman who's never been married at 40. Little Pig isn't... Little Pig, Little Pig? You remember that story?
Yeah, yeah.
Little Pig is an artistic interpretation of my birthday sex conversation. Jack's mom was always on her period when it comes to my birthday. Like, years. And I was like... Yeah. Oh,
and you'll blow me again.
Punctuation is important. Take Lord, come save me, or Lord's come save me. Lord, come save me. Lord, come save me. Maybe it's spelling. I don't know. Me and a bartender have a lot in common. Both tear a lot of boxes.
Yeah.
Odd. A few bartenders, the female ones.
Yeah.
If a woman says she has my back, at this point in my life, I get the feeling she's just into pegging.
Yeah.
Okay, let's step out.
You got a little one.
Right. She was like a flavor of Fritos and Doritos, you know, the variety pack. Shit. All right, your turn, sir. I'm gonna step on it.
Mine are too serious.
I have serious ones too. I just feel like these are ones that maybe I have not hoarded. I've got serious ones that I've written down in my journal, but I'm not whipping that out on camera.
Here's a couple from George Carlin. We were talking about your shirt being the 70th anniversary.
Right.
It was 69th, right?
Right.
Well, when George Carlin turned 70, he said, "Well, now I'm 69 with a thumb in my ass."
Oh shit!
You're welcome.
Thank you.
I'm waiting for you to take a drink.
That'll teach me to swallow.
Yeah. The other thing that I like of his, well, like pretty much his entire catalog, but it really reminds me of him these days. With one of his quotes was, "When you're born in this country, when you're born into this world, you're given a ticket to the freak show. And when you're born in this country, you get a front row seat."
That's true.
And it just seems to keep proving itself. Because, man, look around.
Equality equals entitlement. That's my new theory that I'm stamping on everything. Equality equals entitlement.
Make up some bumper stickers.
No shit. Equality equals entitlement, and fuck your feelings. I don't give a shit.
Right. Yeah. There was another one that I had pulled up here. And this is from Plato, the philosopher.
Oh, I was going to say.
Not the clay.
Not the little plastic one where you squish it and it comes out like hair.
Plato. He was a musician as well, and so he has lots of quotes about music and musicians and how music kind of dictates the universe. And this one I heard from a speech that Greg Bennett did at NAMM one year. And I was like, wow, that really sums it up. But this rhythm and harmony find its way into the soul and there's like 8 versions of this quote. I could not find the right one, but this is how it goes. Sorry, try this again. Rhythm and harmony enter most powerfully into the innermost parts of the soul and lay forcible hands upon it, bearing grace with them, so making graceful him who is rightfully trained. Meaning, music makes you a more just person.
Right.
Basically, there are laws and justice in music that he believed that those who couldn't play music shouldn't be allowed to govern because they lacked the integrity,
right,
to understand the rules of the universe.
I'll agree with
I was
that.
like, wow, that's interesting.
You know, and that's the thing, because honestly, music, and there's a fine line there, because the people
define music.
the people that bend rules of music
Yeah.
are usually considered the entrepreneurs, the geniuses, right? But in the same sense, when you learn music, you accept that this is 4/4 time. These are half notes. This is that's sharp. This is flat, and there's no explanation. It just is what it is. So I'll agree with that, because coincidentally, like we were talking about earlier, I joined the board here in town, and you ever get that impression where you go in and you're like, wow, you were made fun of a lot in high school.
Yeah.
And I've covered that, but time heals, you move on. Fuck, don't get stuck on it.
Some people don't.
Right, and I looked this guy up on LinkedIn, and it turns out he's our age.
Really?
Like college, the years he was in college, just gotta put us right the same age. And I'm like, you really think a lot. And we were sitting there was 5 board members there and 2 city officials, and I was like, you guys, our job is not to be judgmental. Our job is not to be dicks. Our job is not to say you can have this because you are who you are and you can't have this because you're a hoarder. It's essentially what they were looking at this, permit standing. But anyway, so we're going through stuff, and I was like, that's not our job. Our job is to take, these are the laws, these are the codes, we interpret them. That's our only job. Yeah. And then we vote that if it fits the interpretation of the law. That's it. And these people were just, you could tell a couple of them were like, I
is
don't
that
know.
the guy over on
and
3rd Street?
there was this one guy that was like, well, he managed to fit I'm an appraiser into a 30-minute meeting 3 times. And I'm like,
we got
I masturbate a lot. And? It says right here, this is what it says. It is what it is.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was a new experience, but like you said,
I'm glad they've got your voice now. As strong as it is.
Oh, I cracked the joke. One of them goes, "What's our standing on enforcing the grass, the rules of lawn height and stuff?" And then one of the city officials was like, "It's currently at 12 inches." And he was, "Is there any way we could look into lowering that to 8?" And I turned around and looked at him and I said, "Well, I don't know about you, such and such, but every time I measure something at 12, it's generally speaking 8 anyways." And the mayor goes, and he was smiling, but he was like, I see what you did there.
Is there a person taking notes?
No, that was not.
Minutes of this meeting?
There is minutes, but there is not. That was not taken down. No, it's not like a photographer or whatever. No.
Damn, that would have been perfect.
Right.
That would have reminded
and
me.
He did not laugh, and I don't think he's an intelligent person. You can tell.
Yeah.
But he's an engineer by profession. This individual, and as you can, most engineers have this idea of how things work, but that's not really reality.
Right.
And they carry that concept to everything.
Yeah.
So.
Oh man.
Anyways, but yeah, you're totally right. There's a written concept, and your job is not to impose your personal opinions on it. It is to just follow.
Yeah.
said spectrum of, yeah. I can tell there's going to be moments on this already that I'm like, you're an asshole, aren't you? Like, I pride myself on being an asshole, but you, sir, you took the cake, and you ate all that motherfucker. You sucked down the candles, too. Yeah, calm down. My wife's over here. I don't want you to get it all over your face and give her the wrong idea. That, sir, is not how this is done. One lick at a time. Hey, you want to hear a song about my sex life?
Yeah.
It's called Poncho and Lefty.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of that, it's a. There's a line drawn to make this connection, but Townes Van Zandt wrote that song.
Did he?
Poncho and Lefty.
I did not realize that.
Willie and Merle did it, made it famous.
Mm-hmm.
But Townes Van Zandt wrote it. His story was he wrote it about two Mexican bandits that he saw 2 weeks after he wrote it on TV.
Oh shit.
He was out there. But anyway, Steve Earle was friends with Townes. And Steve's son, Justin Townes Earle, died the other day.
Oh, I think I did hear about that, yeah.
And I guess, I don't know how true it is, but I saw today that it was a probable drug overdose. So, I know at the time of that, and it was really following him, he wasn't into that. Or at least, it was said he wasn't into that.
Right.
You know, but it's a different lifestyle, man.
Life throws you curveballs,
Yeah.
and you never know what you're going to. That's why I've learned to never say no. And there's a good quote. Never say never.
Yeah.
How many times has that one proved you wrong? As a matter of fact, if you say never say never, it usually happens. That's why, you know, I just you want to know one of my favorite songs ever? Charlie Rich, Keep On Rolling With The Flow.
Yeah.
That was like my song until I had Jack. And I think I remember texting Josh one time. I was like, it's up to you to continue carrying the torch because I've had a kid now, so now those lyrics don't apply to me.
Right.
Which if I just would have ate at Subway that day. Anyway, so I never say never. Hey, what do you call a flying Jew? Smoke. That's a burn. I gotta throw these in.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
No shit. Well, or, yeah.
What do we set the time-wise?
I think we're about to wrap up here.
That's one thing I never do is wrap up,
well,
sir.
We did discuss that, didn't we?
Let's see if I got any more quotes in here.
I got one that I wrote, but I'm not going to read it.
Oh, Jesus hates
It's
the pussy.
fucking long.
It's
more of a blog post than a quote. I'll read that another time.
No, let's hear it.
Oh, man. Alright, let me get pulled up here. Ooh. Let's see if I can do this now. Alright. This is called American.
American.
By
John Mack.
Has
50 Shades of Grey.
yeah. I'll get up real close.
Go PBR with it.
Yeah. This is for you. Okay, American. What is it to be American? Is it only a specific version of a person with only specific ideas like yours? Too many times I've heard people say, if you don't love it, leave it. I admit I agree with that in certain cases. But I also look at it like this. If you don't change yourself, improving who you are because you hate yourself, you do it because you love yourself, and know that you can continue to grow and improve. To me, being American is to have the courage to stand up for the weakest of our citizens and ensure that they are just as welcome as the most well-off among us. It is about being willing to accept change when it's for the right reasons. It is about celebrating what we have done right and acknowledging what we've done wrong. We are all well aware of the dark history this nation bears. And still, after a civil war that not only threatened to rip this country apart, it did. And I, for one, am grateful for those who labored, suffered, and gave so much to ensure that we were once again united. We are a unique group, not because we are all alike, but because of our vast differences between the coast and all of us in between. We have this most valuable experience of being surrounded by so many cultures and creeds, all within our borders. We can learn so much from each other. It only takes some time and a little effort, but open your eyes and your heart and to some of these incredible people, and you will learn that no matter our differences, we are all really very much alike. We all want to matter. We all want the opportunity to succeed. We all want to be loved. We all want to love and be loved. We all want acceptance. That's America, folks. It is the ultimate global mixtape. It is the world at your fingertips. We are so much more and run so much deeper than just right or left, north or south, Christian or atheist, black or white, millennial or boomer. We are everything, and we can do even better. Helping someone doesn't hurt everyone else. If I have a candle that is burning and you have a candle that is unlit, I have the ability and the obligation I have the ability to light your candle without losing any lumens of my own. In fact, the room becomes twice as bright, so not only do I not give up anything, I gain better sight of the problem. So what do you say? Washington, D.C. isn't working for any of us. They are too busy playing games and dividing us. Let's bypass them and just get back together with our friends and family and co-workers and neighbors and start solving problems. There's plenty of things locally you probably could contribute your ideas and experience to. If we all start doing that, eventually it works its way up the chain. Then maybe one day our children or grandchildren will have leaders they are proud of because they actually work towards what's best for the country and not just looking for schemes to stay in power and pay back their lobbyists. Just be there for one another, smile and greet strangers, help someone. We're all in it together, all.
Those are some good thoughts.
It's just one of those things that, randomly one night I'm like, what is it to be an American?
Right. Well, there's those nights where it just flows.
Yep. So that's my writing.
Well, now it makes all my funny, dirty shit just seem really petty.
I'll come up with some dirty shit.
But speaking of, I had an opinion earlier, and I was like, I could be wrong, but if you'd ask any of my exes, you know that never happened.
Every once in a while. Right? We've got these cans this time, and I thought, at least we won't have bugs flying in the drinks.
Right. Flew right in.
I had a ladybug sitting right there on the lip. And then
it's not a ladybug. It's one of those Asian stink builders.
Yeah, those fucking, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And it fucking just jumped right into the fucking one.
It was a suicidal. It was a kamikaze Asian stink bill.
Ooh, they were trained for this.
They were trained for this to ruin your beer.
Thanks for that.
Here's a good quote. I think I read that in a cookie once.
Yeah. Well, to that point, I also heard another quote that was, "No one can be you better than you. Only you can be that." So you might question your abilities, your talents, or whatever, but what you bring to the table is unique to what anybody else can bring. And I kind of had that when we started this podcast, and I was like, "There's so many podcasts out there.
Oh,
you hear about that,
yeah.
and it's like."
You open your front door, you throw, you hit one with the stick.
But I thought, I heard somebody say, but only you have your exact opinions and experiences and way of saying things. And I'm like, well, fuck it. If we have 10 or 30 listeners, it's ours.
Yeah, and if it's people enjoying it.
Yeah, and it's documented forever now. Imagine if we had this of our grandparents.
Oh man,
I would sit for hours
and listen.
Yeah,
right.
And I have a video of my grandparents on my dad's side and my grandma's brother, so be my great uncle, playing music in the living room of their house. And I remember seeing them do that, as a kid growing up. But you just kind of forget things. But then somebody made this video, and I was like, where the hell was this? Like,
right.
This is after they died, and I was like, I didn't even know this existed. Like, so when we got it, I was like, I'll just sit there and just watch the whole damn thing for hours, man. Just
right.
Watching their expressions and then cracking jokes and shit.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
You picked up their time and their tempo. And
yeah.
That's one thing after Dad passed, I went through a lot of his old pictures.
Yeah.
And I told my mom, I think I got to know him better as a person flipping through 4 boxes of pictures than I ever knew him as a man when he was alive.
Yeah.
Because there's just stuff that you pick out, they're random.
That was me and my grandpa on my mom's side, man. Like, he was so quiet. At least he never talked to younger kids, And he talked to me some, but more just, how's school, kind of things like that.
Right.
And, but just because we lived in the same town, and so I spent some time with him, and he kind of got me into golf and shit like that. And so, we spent some time with that. But he was a very quiet guy and intimidating, but after he died, then you hear all these stories of, how he partied with these people and this and that, and some of the things he did, in the military and stuff. And you're going, where was this guy when I was sitting 2 feet from him?
Right.
When I was 16,
tired.
17.
He was tired.
He was just wanting to watch golf, man. Like,
he was gone.
He was like, I just wanted. He was unwinding from all the years of service.
Oh yeah.
And that's I guess my other shout out this week is to him and well, Troy finally retired.
Did he?
Finally got that done.
That's good.
So I had the ceremony last week. So,
good deal.
Yeah, Troy's my friend in the Marines. Was in the Marines, right?
Yeah. You too.
Not now, bud. I think once a Marine, always a Marine or something like that. But, but yeah, congratulations to him too.
Yeah,
and,
that's awesome.
I'll put in his time, man.
Is he still moving back towards this way, or?
I'm not sure what's been decided.
Well, with everything going on,
I think he's pretty sure he wants to be in Kansas City.
Yeah.
But it's
that'd be fun to get together, maybe.
Yeah.
And
everything's just up in the air right now. So
that conversation we just had though reminds me of shit. It's on the tip of my tongue. Charlie Robinson Photograph.
Oh, yeah.
That song.
Yeah.
I mean, every time I hear it.
And I forget about that song. Until I
and then,
remember it.
And then you hear it. It's that same emotion every time it drops.
Oh, yeah.
So, there's another, Jamie Johnson had one. in color.
In color.
And it kind of struck the same nerve, you know,
Yeah.
as far as that go. But Charlie Robinson photograph is
Just as good.
if not better,
Yeah.
honestly. In mine,
More
it's more family
brutally
oriented. I
honest.
think.
I think it's more down to earth, raw. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's,
Get
yeah.
raw dogs your heart.
Man, when I yeah. That'll be another song.
Yeah.
Gonna roll dog your heart.
That sounds like an
Motley
80s
Crue.
hair band. Yeah.
Roll dog your heart.
Raw dog your heart.
Looks like Motley Crue would do.
Actually, it sounds like a motto for like maybe an 80s mall or something.
Yeah.
Raw dog your heart. Plato and musician. So that brought me back to this one. I had to really look for it.
Okay.
Why was the musician kicked out of church? Because he asked the preacher's wife to plug in his organ.
Oh, yeah.
I
Well,
love
the
that
preacher
one.
was plugged into the little boy's organ.
Right in the rectory.
Sorry. Every time I make
Sorry.
fun of religion, they go,
Father
don't you
over
think it
here.
went too far? And like, don't you think the Catholic Church went too far?
Right.
Yeah,
The
they-
balls deep.
Yeah.
What do you call a post employee that gets an abortion?
Oh.
Return to sender.
We talked about that. I thought we weren't going to do that one.
No, I did it.
All right, we'll go.
I did it. It's out there.
Uh,
It might get bigger. It might get smaller. We don't know. Either way, we're prepared.
depending on how this editing goes.
Yeah.
We might get it. Might not.
Let's see. Yeah, that's pretty much all
Yeah.
I've got this week. Yeah, no, not reading that one.
Those are the good ones.
Those are the good ones.
We'll save that for off the air.
I did have a random idea when you come into yourself as a man. That would be an interesting episode. If anybody wants
okay.
to.
Gotcha. And then, like,
No, I've never been that
I
flexible.
was like, wow.
I'm not that long,
Or some middle winter.
nor I'm not am I that flexible. I think that would be some interesting, and this is stuff that I would be interested in hearing from like Mom's husband, Mike, the dad that raised me, Ben, any older listeners we have,
Oh, yeah.
people from our generation maybe that have, we're not past our prime, we're just reaching the apex, let's call it that. But no, when you came into yourself as a man, that would be an interesting episode, I think, to hear from different people as to life experiences that really brought them around from being that, I'm in this for the fun to I feel like I'm somewhere as a man, kind of thing. That was bjontheRocks@gmail.com.
That's right. That's
If you want to get
BJ.
your rocks off, you send them to us.
That's right.
Wait a second. No FedEx parcels, please.
I was going to say, I'm not partaking. The getting off of the rocks.
the getting off of the rocks.
I guess you're on your own.
We just get a grip on our man-to-hand relationship.
On the terms truly how we feel.
That's a good one.
If we put our heads together,
We just stay home forever.
Dear penis, I think I like you after all.
Oh,
Yeah.
and Rodney, while you're shaving, shave my balls.
Dakota loved that.
I bet he did. He's like, Dad, can I borrow a razor? No.
No, you don't want to do that.
Here, son, take the electric one. Let me know how that goes for you. The life lesson you're going to have to teach yourself.
Next couple weeks, it'll be hell. It's 100 degrees and you're sweating.
I can't remember the last time I had pubic hair on my balls, I'll be honest. Like, I wear button flies, no underwear, and shave my balls in the summer.
Yep.
If you've made it this far, you've realized that our video recording process quit early. And unlike us, it
Didn't finish.
didn't finish.
No.
So this is the point where you need to go to iTunes, Spotify, Facebook,
Yeah.
Libsyn,
Facebook, Libsyn, iTunes, Google Play,
Ooh, that's a good one.
Podcaster, any of those places. You know.
And listen to us finish.
Yeah.
Because we love to finish on you.
Yeah. There was some good stuff.
There was some good stuff there in the end. We apologize for that. But we'll try to do better for you.
I take the blame for that one. Sorry.
Anyways, we just want to say that we appreciate you watching us. By all means, go listen to the end.
Yeah.
Because it's never the end unless you both climax. And we've climaxed. You should too.
Yeah. I feel bad if you don't.
Well,
I mean, we'll keep trying. But, you know.
Either way.
Eventually, it is up to you.
Either way, I'll finish.
Either way, yeah.
So,
anyway.
Anyways, we'll see you next week.
See you next week for episode 17.
Yes, can I do the exciting zoom in part?
Do it.
You ready for this?
Do it.
Everybody?
Hurry. Oh.
Right there!